There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, this is Vince from Fractal Universe, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome back Vince Wilquin. He's a guitar, vocals, and saxophone of Fractal Universe. Fractal Universe will release their new album, The Impassable Horizon, via Metal Blade Records on June 25th. Also, check out their new single that's out right now called A Clockwork Expectation. Vince, man, welcome back to the show, and how you doing so far?
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. I'm doing good. Everything is looking good so far in terms of the feedback for the new single, so we're really happy.
How excited are you guys to hopefully get back out on the road soon and start to play some shows and get your music out there some more, man?
Pretty excited, actually. We miss it. Our last show was played in March 2020, and since then we have not been able to play in front of an audience. So yeah, we can't wait to hit the road again.
It's kind of crazy on how this all kind of lined out. It's like Mother Earth just said, hey, look, I need a break. Everybody just needs to chill out. But I wish it wasn't the COVID route. You know what I mean? Because we lost a lot of people, and it's just really hurt a lot of folks.
Yeah, totally. But I think we as the band managed to get the best possible out of this situation. We managed to stay very productive, record a new record and everything. So we can't really complain. I think many people were affected much worse by this whole situation than we did. So, yeah.
Did you find yourself doing anything differently, though, other than music, such as like collecting or catching up on anything that you might have been missing out on, possibly?
Not really. I've been really busy with the music. As you may know, I play the saxophone only since 1 year and a half, so I've been finding a lot of time to practice that. But besides, I've started reading more again, which I hadn't done in the last few years. So, yeah.
How's it feel to have a new album in the Fractal Universe music library so far, man? How's it feel to get this album out finally?
Yeah, we're really excited because this record has been in the making for 2 years. And actually, it was finished in terms of the whole mix, I think, in October of last year. So it's starting to really get, it needs to get out there, I think. So we're really excited about that.
Didn't you guys start demoing this album 2018, 19? Is that right, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, basically all our records happen basically the same way. We start actually with the pre-productions roughly by the time we're finished with producing the record that is about to be released. So yeah, it's true. It was, I think the first idea started to emerge in late 2018 or something like that. So even before released Rhizomes, our last record to date. And yeah, that's always how we operate because we like to take our time to let the ideas mature and everything. So yeah.
Old to you guys, but new to us.
Yeah.
Writing the new album, The Impassable Horizon, did it challenge you as a band because of COVID, bringing the album to life? Were these songs that had been previously written, or these all brand new, fresh songs?
Well, as I said, the writing process spanned over quite some time. And before the pandemic, actually, a lot of it was already written out. We just needed, when the pandemic started, to finalize all the vocal pre-productions and write some solos and stuff. But for the most part, it was already done. And so the pandemic didn't slow us down or force us to do anything differently. Because either way, we work quite remotely a lot. We send each other ideas and send each other pre-productions and that kind of stuff. So it didn't really slow us down.
Yeah, and now with technology, with email, a bandmate can just record their stuff and then send it to you or whoever, and then there you go. You can mix and master everything right then. Yeah,
definitely. And for the recording of the record, we have all our own professional recording environments and studios. So it was fairly easy, actually.
As a band, are you guys a little nervous releasing the album right now, since bands can't tour or can't really do nothing right now?
Well, again, we try to do the best out of the situation. We plan a lot of video content. We have a lot of ideas in that direction in order to compensate for the absence of live shows. And we didn't want to really hush the release of the record. We tried to wait a little bit, and now it's going to be released in late June. And we have a bunch of shows in France in the summer, so we won't be completely missing out on touring. So, yeah.
Plus, the way it is now with music and fans wanting music like every single day, it's like you got to put stuff out to stay relevant, sadly, because it's not like back in the 80s and 70s where you have to go to your local magazine stores or somewhere like that to check out Hit Parade or Circus Magazine or some type of magazine to keep up with your favorite band. Now it's just like, it's at your fingertip, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, well, we have to adapt to the times we live in, obviously, but yeah. I think I would have loved growing up in a time where you would have to go to the record store actually to find out the new music and whatever. But now, yeah, we really have to adapt to that digital area and make the best out of it. But it's hard because, as you said, there's so many bands, so many things going on and everything. So you have to keep your head out of the water and keep releasing new stuff.
All right, Vince, what's impressed or excited you the most about making this new album, if anything, man? What sticks out the most for you about it?
It's hard to say. I think I'm really excited about using the saxophone for the first time on the record because that's something new. And I'm also really happy about how the whole production turned out because Flavien, our producer, really managed to bring these songs to life. And even better, I think it's even improved in comparison to our previous records. So, yeah, really excited about it.
During this pandemic, this has gave you guys pretty much a no limit or no rush on getting this album out and working on it. Let's talk about how important that is for Fractal Universe working on this album or any album, of having just that no rush with your albums.
Yeah, we've always been thinking along these lines, and that's also why we like to record everything in our own studios. And as I said, yeah, we all have our own professional environments, and especially our drummer now has his own professional studio at home where he also records for other bands and all that stuff. And that gives us really freedom in terms of the time we are able to take. We don't have to pay rent. We don't have to have pressure to do this or that many tracks a day. And that really helps, I think. You can even take a break, take a few days off recording, because obviously that's something exhausting. And yeah, that's very important, especially for music like ours, which has a lot of technical complexity and also a lot of layers. I'm thinking, for example, about the vocals, where for some choruses, like 30-ish tracks superimposed. So that takes time, and it's good to have time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This album had more clean vocals than the previous albums. Let's talk about that a little bit. Was this something intended on being put into the album, or did it just work out that way?
I think it worked out that way. And the main reason, I think, is that the vocals have to fit with the music. And the music has a huge dynamic range. There are a lot of more open passages on the record, a lot of arpeggiated, clean guitar stuff. And I think the vocals really need to match that. If I would have been growling all through the record, I don't think it would have fit at all. So I really had to challenge myself to get that diversity in the vocals that we have in the music.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on this album? I know it must change every time you listen to it. I know these are your babies, but are there any tracks that stand out for you personally?
Well, there are a few, yeah, that obviously it depends, but a few stand out and have stood out since the moment we wrote them. I think the first is a Clockwork Expectation, which is the first single we released, and that's not a coincidence, because to me it has a little bit of everything this record is about. You have a lot of dynamics, you have the saxophone, you have a lot of different moods throughout the song. But apart from that, I think the album Closer, Godless Machinists, does really stand out to me, because it shows the more progressive and the more journey-like side of the band. It's really a musical journey of 8.5 minutes, I think. That again makes me travel through a lot of different musical landscapes, and yeah, that's what I love about it.
Were there any tracks that didn't make this album that we could see down the line on an EP or a one-off or another album possibly? There are any tracks that didn't make this album?
Not really, and that has been the case on all our records so far. Whenever we write a song, usually it makes it on the record. Obviously, there are a few song ideas that are not being used, but usually we realize quite early in the process if this is going to turn into a full song or not. So there are not any leftovers.
Was there a song that you guys are working on that totally ended up sounding different than intended to? Was there one that was brought to the table that you thought would end up this way, but totally took a major turn?
Not really, because when I'm composing, I have already a clear idea in mind of what the song's going to be. So I don't think there were any major changes like that. Maybe some little arrangements changed or whatever. And the saxophone was added quite late in the whole process. But it didn't really affect the songs, although in terms of the structure or whatever. So, no, pretty much everything stayed the way it was initially supposed to be. Obviously, then it comes to life in the production, and maybe you realize you should add some layers here and there, but yeah, nothing radical different.
The album was overseen by producer Flavien Norel, who's been working with you guys since the beginning. How is working with him, and is there just a huge comfort factor that he knows exactly what this band wants and needs?
Yeah, totally. He has really grown very close to the band. He's also a good friend. Easy to work with him. He also lives really close to where we live, and that makes it convenient because we can be there during the mixing process. He can also be there to record the drums for us, for example. And to us, it's important to really build relationships like this over time because that's part of our band's identity. We've also been working with the same visual artists, with the same crew also for our shows. We are really fans of trying to build relationships like this over time.
Does he get something out of you guys that maybe another producer might not get?
Yeah, as we said, he really knows us, so I think he can get the best out of the ideas. And he also brings stuff to the table. For example, he's a keyboard player, so he might say, yeah, this part would really need one extra layer or something. And for this record, he also pushed me in terms of the vocal production. He forced me to do quad trackings on all the vocal lines to really make it feel thicker, more like really chorusy. And he's really pushing us. And I think that wouldn't maybe happen with any other producer that wouldn't know us as well as he does.
Who did the artwork for the album?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's the same guy since the beginning, and he's called Shad. He's actually a high school friend from Hugo, our guitar player. And yeah, he basically works in the art business, but he's only doing artworks for our music, and that's what makes it also special. He isn't designing for any other bands. I don't know exactly why. I think he's not particularly interested in that. But it really works well. And again, it's a relationship we've built over time, so he really understands the music. He really understands also the concept behind the band and everything. And I think for this one, he has really outdone himself, and I'm really stoked about this artwork.
Do you still see this band musically growing from where it started, especially like going outside that box? I know you said you are playing saxophone on here, and plus you have some other stuff going on. But do you like in the direction where this is going outside that box?
I think it's the mindset that we have with the band since the beginning, trying to develop our own musical personalities. Not trying to sound like anybody else, and that's, I think, not easy to do. But yeah, I like when I compose not to set any limitations. As you said, there's the use of the saxophone, but not only, there are many compositional tools or whatever that don't necessarily come from metal, and there are many influences outside of metal. And I think all of these elements taken from jazz, from classical music, from fusion, contribute to making us sound like we do.
Vince, what do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Fractal Universe's music in general, man? What do you hope they get from it?
Well, I hope they get really dense, because I think each track on the record tells a different story in terms of the music. And I think there is maybe some songs that could please different people. I mean, I think different people might have a different favorite song because they are so diverse. There are heavier stuff. There are more open, atmospheric stuff. So I really think that this record takes you on a journey. And what I like also about art in general is that it can mean something totally different to me, the composer, that it can mean to the listener. So I'm really curious always to know what their reaction is to the music we put out there.
Yeah, you're exactly right, man. There's been so many songs that's been written by bands, and they have it set for this way, but as fans, we interpret it as another way. So it's cool on how everybody can just like take their own vision on that song. So it's cool, man, to see that.
Yeah, I think when you put your songs out to the world, they don't belong entirely to you anymore. So as we said, everybody can put its own meaning on the song, and that's what's amazing about it.
All right, what made you want to become a musician, if you can recall? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, I want to try that?
As far as I remember, I've always been into music, and my parents are largely at the source of that. They introduced me to rock and like all kinds of rock music at a very early age. And I remember I always had this little spark inside my head that wanted me to pursue that dream. And it took a few years until I really get serious about music, but I think the spark was already there. But the moment that made it really change was the first time I attended a Deep Purple show. I think I was 10 or something. And it really changed me, I think.
I would say so. I would say so, most definitely.
Yeah.
I know when you was growing up, you had a lot of music and a lot of albums to choose from. But did you have just that one go-to album that you had to have, or one go-to song that you had to have, that you listened to it like maybe every other week or something like that? If so, what was it possibly?
That depended on the period. I think from when I was 6 years old to when I entered when I was 10 or something, I listened to Deep Purple's Machine Head on repeat. And later on it changed. I think one record that really changed everything for me then was Individual Thought Patterns by Death, which I discovered when I was like 12 or something. And that's what got me into extreme metal. And again, it was something totally new that I'd never heard before. And I had to listen to this record on repeat every time.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Fractal Universe's new album that's coming out, The Impassable Horizon, via Metal Blade Records on June 25th. You want to pick that up and pick up their old stuff as well. So, Vince, how can folks stay in touch with you all, buy some merchandise, tour dates when it all gets back together, just to say hi to you all? How can they do that?
Basically, we are present on all the social medias. So you can find us by typing Fractal Universe on Facebook, Fractal Universe Band on Instagram, YouTube, and also on Twitch. And if you want to pre-order a record, you can head to our shop, which is shop.fractaluniverseband.com, where you can pre-order all our new records, or you can also do that directly from Metal Blade's page. So definitely head over there. And meanwhile, check out the singles that are already out there. And I hope you're going to like it.
Vince, before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Yeah, sure. Hey, this is Vince from Fractal Universe, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour Podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and you definitely want to subscribe to the YouTube link because we're going to be giving away a lot of stuff. And plus, tickets to Louder Than Life. Hopefully this still goes down this September, so you want to check that out. Also, please check out Fractal Universe. Pick up their new album, The Impassable Horizon, via Metal Blade Records on June 25th. You will not be disappointed. Grab their old stuff, too, because this band does have a lot of good music, and you don't want to sleep on them. So, Vince, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck as always.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to speak with you. And, yeah, hopefully the people are going to enjoy this. And, yeah, keep sharing the word around.
listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.